Hello and welcome to Doubles and Trebles. It's PIEMAN'S here, and back to preview this evening's Ali Pali action. Got to start with a quick nod to this afternoon. I was as shocked as you were, but we managed to land a 14-1 winning Trixie in our first session preview video of the tournament. I hope we haven't peaked. We may well have done, but no, that's fantastic, and great seeing the comments of you managing to follow in and get on. No pressure then to back that up this evening, but I've got some selections and fancies for what is a really interesting evening of action. I wasn't too enthused about last night's card, but yeah, this one I expect to be competitive. I'm expecting fireworks here. And we start with Roby John Rodriguez versus Lawrence Ilagan. Now, we'll just say up front, this is a game I'm not going to have a bet in, but we'll just have a quick run through as to why that is the case. Looking at Lawrence Ilagan first, the Filipino, he's quite a big outsider to win this if we just click into the match bet. And I know it says that there's 2-7 available for Roby John, but he's actually more like a 1-5 shot across the board. That is very short, but I do expect him to prevail. I won't be playing at those kind of prices though. Ilagan's been to Ali Pali multiple times now. He's qualified the last 4 years, 6 times overall. He's never won a game on the Ali Pali stage, but he does quite often win a set or two, and he's a very capable player. I mean, he averaged 95 in defeat to Vincent van der Voort 3 or 4 years ago. He averaged 88 and 84 and 82. So he's not one of these sort of out of his depth qualifiers. So Roby John's going to have to be on it. But to be fair, what we've seen of Roby John this year, he has been on it. He's had some off-hockey issues with his daughter being unwell, needing an operation on her heart. Thankfully, that all seems to have gone well, but it's not halted his progress on it. He says he's playing with a new purpose now, and you can see that in his darts. A great TV win over Gerwyn Price recently, and I expect him to prevail, but Ilagan will make him work for it. So I'm just going to give this game a wide berth. I sit back and enjoy it. If you do want to get involved and you want to get behind Roby John Rodriguez, as any of you who've watched the betting preview, our big betting preview, will have seen, we've put Roby John Rodriguez up as a dark horse in his quarter at 50-1. So if you want to get behind Roby John, which I would recommend, then a much better way to do it is just to go have a couple of quid on him at 50-1 to win the quarter and hope he comes through this one, which I think he will, but I just can't get involved at the prices, to be honest. So that moves me on to the second game of the night, and this is where it gets very interesting. Probably the second round game that all darts fans have been looking forward to the most. First round game, sorry. Willie O'Connor, the experienced Irishman, the Magpie, takes on Beau Greaves, and wow, just don't know what to expect in this game. Cannot wait to watch it. Beau Greaves, the young female sensation, she's taken the women's series by storm. 52 straight wins to qualify as second place, despite only joining the professional circuit halfway through the season. Unbelievable achievement from Greaves. Now, the difficulty with this match is she's drawn a very capable player in Willie O'Connor. He's a very worthy favourite. However, I think you've just got to back Greaves at 2-1 because there's so many unknowns about this. Obviously, we don't know how she's going to hold up on that Ali Pali stage, but we also don't know what her base level really is, because in the women's series, she can average anywhere between sort of 70 and 107. It really does vary. But what we do know about Beau is when she's faced with another elite player, i.e. a Sherrock, Suzuki or Ashton in the women's sphere, she always raises her game and brings her best starts. So on that basis, I have to presume that she's going to bring a really good level of play here against O'Connor. I think she can easily average around the low 90s here if she's not overawed by the occasion. And it might be that she makes a bit of a slow start and stuff, but once she settles in, she's pretty unflappable, Greaves. And the other big factor is she's going to have this crowd right behind her. Willie O'Connor, not used to playing the villain, very likeable, mild-mannered guy. So it's going to be unusual for him to be getting sort of booed when he's throwing and huge cheers when Greaves wins the legs and stuff, 180s. A few years ago, I saw Willie O'Connor snap at a crowd. So you do wonder if that will come into it. I mean, he's a more composed, more rounded player now, but just a fascinating game. And I think you've got to be with the outsider at 2-1 here because there's so many variables, so many unknowns, and I'm more than happy to chance Greaves, who is just drifting a little bit in places. Might get over 2-1 on that exchange soon enough. And I understand why. That's going to be the data heads coming for O'Connor, because on the numbers he should be a bit shorter. But I think, looking at it with a more rounded view, you've got to chance Greaves at the prices. So Beau Greaves 2-1 for me is a bet there in a single. Third game of the night, another fascinating one. Keegan Brown versus Florian Hempel. Very, very tightly priced and with good reason. Now, I think this is a really interesting game because Florian Hempel, on his Ali Pali debut last year, only went pro in 2018, of course. Ali Pali debut last year, he beat Dimitri Vandenberg. Now, that was something we tipped up on the channel because Florian was a man in red-hot form there on the floor. He's not been in red-hot form this year, anything but. When he came through the German Super League qualifier, I was really, really surprised, to be honest. Pleasantly surprised because I like Hempel, but he's shown nothing on the all year. Really poor on the Players' Championship. Barely even made the last 16 more than one or two times in 30 events. So, yes, he's going to retain his card, but he's been far from convincing this year. Now, Keegan Brown is on the absolute periphery of the card situation. If he wins this game, he should be safe next year for his tour card. If he loses here, he's probably going to have to go to Q-School because he's just right on the edge of the rankings for losing, for slipping out of the top 64. Now, he's still got his fate in his own hands, and that's because he managed to qualify for Ali Pali, and it's also because out of nowhere he managed to win a Pro Tour back in August. He was fantastic that day, beat Nathan Aspinall 8-7 in the final. Quite emotional after that, talking about the fear of losing his card, saying he hasn't had time to commit to darts. Obviously works in laboratories as well, away from darts, and with COVID, I know it was a very testing time for Keegan, so this is a massive game for him. It's basically a chance to salvage his professional status. I imagine he's been absolutely hammering the practice board. He trumps Hempel significantly in terms of Ali Pali experience. So I just have to be with Brown at 6-5. I think he is the bet here. It's a tight game, quite right, but I expect him to pull a little bit out and preserve his status. So that takes us on to the last game of the night, which is Michale Smith versus Nathan Rafferty. Unsurprisingly, Michale Smith priced at 2-13, best price. Rafferty all the way out at 6-1 nearly. Now, I've got to play this game to be a little bit tighter than what it actually is. Because Michale Smith, last time we saw him, was losing last year's final to Peter Wright, who was brilliant there. He's now a major winner, having won the Grand Slam of Darts very recently. Fair play to him. Single-figure quotes for him to win the World Championship. There's better value elsewhere for me, to be honest. But there's no doubt in Smith's credentials. He deserves to be a strong favourite here. However, I could certainly make a case for Nathan Rafferty making a game of this. Young Northern Irishman doesn't seem to be overawed by anything. He wasn't even a favourite to get past Jermaine Wattimena in his first round game last night, but he did so. And he showed some great composure in doing so. Average around the high 80s, low 90s. But that wasn't reflective of a performance where he showed great composure. He looked at home on the stage. And I mean, it transpired in the commentary that he'd had his appendix out 5-6 days ago. It's unbelievable that he can even get up there and play, never mind win. And he showed no signs of wilting there. So what this effectively is for Rafferty is a free hit. And he's a regular winner on the Challenge Tour, one of the best players on the Challenge Tour. So he's got that winner's mentality. And when you combine that with a lack of pressure and a lack of expectation, there's a very real chance that we get to see his best darts here. And the fact that he's had that extra game on the stage, where a few have complained about the coldness and that, until you get that feel up and running, sure, Michale Smith is more than experienced enough to not let that impact him. But I just think Rafferty, nearly even money for this game to be 3-0. It's too short for me. So I could see the logic for playing Nathan Rafferty win at around 6-1 on the exchange. However, what I'm going to recommend is for the game to go over 3.5 sets, 8-11, perfect for a multi. And also, Nathan Rafferty to win 2 sets is 5-2. That means if he wins them 2 sets, you don't have to worry about a potential decider. Now, if it does go to a decider, you would think Michale Smith's experience would probably see him over the line there. However, the 5-2, that's not really a problem. He's still weighed in with a winner. So I'm going to play that anyway. So let's just run through the bets. So 2 singles for me tonight. One of them is Beau Greaves to beat Willie O'Connor at what looks like it's just going to creep over 2-1. And the other one is Nathan Rafferty to get 2 sets off Michale Smith at 5-2. Now, you play them with a level stake, and if either of them cop, you're ahead on your singles. Now, obviously, this afternoon's Trixie landing has taken the pressure off a little bit, but we still want to be turning a profit in every session if we possibly can. Fun multi to try and follow it up. If you're looking for a little interest bet, I'm going to say over 3.5 sets in the O'Connor Greaves game. Over 3.5 sets in Smith versus Rafferty, and Keegan Brown to beat Florian Hempel. And that's coming in at a best price of around 9-2, which I think is really good fun. You can chuck yourself whatever you fancy on that and just cheer it home. But yeah, let's hope for more winners anyway. And thanks very much for watching. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do give us a subscribe. A like and a comment is always appreciated. And I hope some of you managed to get the value earlier with that 3-0 Trixie. See you soon, very soon on Doubles and Trebles. Thanks for watching.